This moment is more critical than ever for the enterprise architecture, EA, and business architecture, BA community. SAP has dramatically transformed its certification program by moving away from traditional multiple choice exams to practitioner-based demonstration of competencies. This new certification requires candidates to validate their real-world ability to perform, configure, and deliver solutions with SAP environments through scenario-based assessments, modular skill paths, and annual hands-on practical evaluations. To us in the EA and BA certification community, this is your call. We are next. This is EA 5.0 and BA 5.0. Just as SAP's shift ensures professionals can apply knowledge effectively rather than memorize theory, EA and BA must also leave behind the multiple choice exam model. The Enterprise Architecture Center of Excellence, EACOE, and the Business Architecture Center of Excellence, BACOE, have exemplified this practitioner-led certification approach since our inception, emphasizing workshops, project evaluations, and live competency demonstrations over rote memorization and multiple choice exams. The benefits are clear. Practitioner-based certification produces architects ready to create measurable business value and to collaborate deeply across disciplines. SAP's leadership in this certification transition validates the path for EACOE and BACOE that we have championed for years. EA and BA certifications must urgently adapt similar practitioner models to maintain relevance, credibility, and impact in today's fast-moving and evolving business technology landscape. This era introduces Enterprise Architecture 5.0 and Business Architecture 5.0, practice maturity frameworks built on actionable skills, continuous learning, and business alignment. The multiple choice exam model is fading as an industry measure. The future of EA and BA certification depends on embracing demonstrated competencies, making the shift not just advantageous, but indispensable. Yes, this transformation will be quite difficult for those firms offering exam-based certifications, the new certification materials, new training materials, instructors skilled in developing architectures, and importantly, the professionalization of the enterprise architecture and business architecture communities. For some of you, practitioners possibly require new learnings. We understand that. Enterprise architecture and business architecture certifications must evolve to mirror SAP's modern business-centric approach, something EACOE and BACOE have championed from its inception. SAP's new practitioner-focused certification leadership. SAP's recently released Practitioner-Focused certification is designed not just to validate technical skills, but to ensure practitioners master the ability to actually develop SAP-related outcomes. The move away from exams to practitioner-focused competencies will lead SAP and the technology community to a whole new level of competency and professional respect. How EACOE and BACOE have led by example. EACOE and BACOE have long applied these principles. These certifications are built around hands-on practitioner workshops rather than just passing theory-based exams. Participants must demonstrate their ability to build usable architectures in real-world scenarios, ensuring that they can do architecture, not just talk architecture. The key features of this approach are an in-depth focused workshop rather than rote memorization or after-the-fact tests. Multi-level certification paths that reward real experience, peer review, and practical abilities, not just exam results or self-reporting. The emphasis on integrating architecture practices across disciplines, fostering collaboration between business and information technology professionals. Enterprise frameworks and practice maturity models that go beyond compliance to create continuous improvement and measurable business value. Why should the EA and BA communities and industry follow this approach, with SAP's high-profile certification validating what EACOE and BACOE have long practiced. It is time for the broader enterprise architecture and business architecture profession to catch up. Certifications built on hands-on skills, continuous learning, and direct business benefits, not just exam-based knowledge, lead to genuine enterprise impact and professional credibility. In summary, SAP's latest development and certification are a public validation of the EACOE and BACOE certification models, anchored in business alignment, hands-on proficiency, and maturity-driven growth. The multiple choice exam enterprise architecture community and business architecture certification community, please take note. The profession's future and its credibility depend on this approach becoming the new standard. Yes, this realization has far-reaching implications for both the certification community and, more importantly, those that have present credentials based on what is now recognized as a fading model. What is the far-reaching effects of the certification model shift across stakeholders? The transition from traditional multiple-choice exam certifications to practitioner-based demonstrated competency models profoundly impacts all the participants within the ecosystem of enterprise architecture and business architecture credentialing. This evolution affects professionals, organizations, hiring managers, recruiters, instructors, certifying agencies, all alike. Here's a summary examination of these various effects. The effects on certified individuals. Professionals holding today's exam-based certifications may face declining credential value as employee preferences shift toward proven applied skills. This will likely require an investment in time and resources into recertification, upskilling, and demonstrating real-world competencies to maintain relevance and competitiveness. The transition can introduce frustration and anxiety. We recognize that, but also the opportunity to deepen practical impact and career advancement. What is the effect on organizations? Organizations have relied on multiple choice certification exam approaches for staff qualifications risk skill misalignment with business needs, requiring significant investment in workforce reskilling. They face increased complexity in managing evolving credential standards and must adopt change management strategies to support these smooth transitions. However, those embracing this new competency model gain competitive differentiation with better prepared teams capable of delivering measurable business outcomes. What is the effect on hiring managers? Hiring managers relying on multiple choice certifications encounter diminished effectiveness in screening for true skills and job fit, leading to potential hiring mismatches. Adapting competency-based evaluation processes empowers managers to identify candidates with proven practical abilities, reducing ramp-up times and enhancing team performance. This shift also promotes a broader cultural change, valuing experience and skills over test results alone. What is the effect on recruiters? Recruiters face challenges in adapting from quick certification keyword filters to more nuanced assessment of demonstrated competencies, increasing sourcing effort and time per hire. Developing skills-first hiring capabilities and leveraging advanced evaluation tools are critical to maintaining recruiting effectiveness and support organizations' talent goals. This evolution enhances recruiter strategic value, but it requires upskilling. What is the effect on instructors? Instructors must evolve from teaching to pass exams based on memorization to facilitating applied learning with scenario-based workshops, hands-on projects, and competency demonstration. This shift complicates curriculum design and assessment, but enables delivery of higher quality, business-ready graduates. Support and training for instructors during this transformation are essential to success. What is the effect on certifying agencies? Agencies relying on multiple choice exam fees face potential revenue declines, higher operational costs, and market share risk due to lower scalability and complexity of competency assessments. These transitions demand investments in new technologies, assessor training, and program redesign. Agencies that innovate and embrace demonstrated competencies for certification gain enhanced credibility and long-term sustainability by better serving professionals and employer expectations. Now, let's take a deeper dive into each of these constituents. The impact on current multiple choice-based certification holders. Number one, an obvious market value decline. The perceived market value of multiple choice credentials will likely diminish as employees begin to prefer or require hands-on practitioner-based certifications that more directly demonstrate applied expertise and problem-solving abilities in real-world scenarios. There will be recertification pressure. Professionals will feel compelled to transition to the new competency-based certifications to maintain competitiveness, even if their previous credentials are technically still valid. This process can introduce institutional costs, require extra training, and demand time investments. There will be a skill gap awareness. Organizations and clients may question whether existing certificate holders really possess real-world practical skills now seen as essential, prompting a renewed focus on ongoing learning, practice, and upskilling to align with new expectations. Possibly some professional frustration. Those who've invested in earlier exam-based certifications marketed as permanent or lifetime valid often face frustration when credentialing bodies revise standards anyways, causing planned obsolescence and undermining the perceived stability and professionalization of the certification landscape. Increased differentiation. Updated practitioner-focused credentials help professionals and organizations signal their alignment with the latest industry standards, driving market differentiation and career mobility, while potentially marginalizing those with older, purely exam-based credentials. Complexity for employers. HR and compliance teams must now track which version and type of credentials people hold, complicating onboarding, professional development, and certification management processes. What are the practical implications? Existing certification holders should proactively seek opportunities to demonstrate practical hand-on competencies, whether through formal recertification, structured workshops, or targeted project work, to ensure their professional standing and relevance. Certification bodies need to communicate transition plans, timelines, and upskilling pathways with transparency to support current professionals as they migrate to the new standards and avoid unnecessary disruption or disenfranchisement. As SAP and others lead the way, the EA and BA certification communities must similarly evolve, making practitioner-based competencies the definitive standard. This shift is not about credential relevance. It's about ensuring architects and business professionals are truly equipped to deliver value, adapt, and lead a rapidly changing business environment. Professionals who currently hold multiple choice exam certifications may face significant challenges and changes in value perception as the industry moves forward to practitioner-based competency valuations. These validations are occurring today. The shift will affect not only how credentials are viewed by employers and peers, but also introduce pressure to upskill, recertify, and adapt to evolving standards. What's the impact on organizations that have relied on these multiple choice exam certifications? Organizations that have built teams and talent development strategies around multiple choice exam certifications face challenges and opportunities as the industry moves forward to practitioner-based competency evaluations. There's a risk of skill mismanagement. Multiple choice certifications primarily validate knowledge recall rather than practical applications. Organizations relying solely on these credentials risk having staff whose theoretical knowledge may not translate effectively to real-world business and technology challenges, impacting project outcomes and business value delivery, something that is probably being seen right now. There is a need for workforce reskilling. As practitioner-based certification like those pioneered by SAP and exemplified by EACOE and BACOE become the industry standard, organizations must invest in reskilling and upskilling their workforce. The shift requires new training frameworks, hands-on learning initiatives, and potentially recertification processes to maintain workforce competency and competitive advantage. Certification management complexity. Transitioning certification standards complicates talent management, increasing administrative burden to track evolving credentials, training statuses, and compliance across teams. Organizations need new systems and processes to manage continuous professional development more dynamically. There's an impact on vendor and partner relationships. Vendors and partners increasingly expect professionals to hold modern credentials and certifications that prove demonstrated competencies, affecting project eligibility, contracting decisions, and partnership credibility. There's an opportunity for competitive differentiation. Organizations that proactively embrace practitioner-based certification models can signal leadership and higher capability maturity to clients and stakeholders, enhancing reputation and business growth opportunities. Early adoption supports building architecture and business teams equipped to deliver measurable outcomes aligned to evolving market and technological demands. There's going to be a change management imperative. Successfully navigating this transition requires a strong change management approach to address staff concerns, communication gaps, and potential productivity impacts. Organizations must lead with transparency, support, and incentives to encourage learning and adoption. What is the impact on hiring managers that now use multiple choice exam certifications? Hiring managers who traditionally relied on multiple choice exam certifications as a key hiring decision face new challenges and mindset shifts as the industry moves toward practitioner-based competencies and validations. There's going to be a reduced reliability on skills assessment. Multiple choice certifications primarily measure theoretical knowledge and recall, which hiring managers increasingly recognize as insufficient to evaluate applied skills, problem-solving ability, and true readiness for practitioner roles. This diminishes their effectiveness as a screening tool for hiring decisions. An increased risk of hiring mismatches. Relying heavily on multiple choice certifications can lead to hiring candidates who perform well in exams but struggle to deliver practical results or collaborate effectively in real projects. This mismatch results in longer onboarding times and possible productivity losses. There's going to be a need for revised evaluation methods. Hiring managers must adapt by incorporating hands-on assessments, portfolio reviews, scenario-based interviews, and demonstrated competency evaluations right into their hiring process to better identify candidates who can do the work, not just know theory. There's going to be a shift in hiring mindset. There's a growing awareness that certifications alone cannot replace demonstrated experience and capabilities. Hiring managers are increasingly valuing proof of applied skills, work samples, project outcomes, and continuous learning over standard certification credentials. The opportunity to evaluate hiring outcomes. By embracing practitioner-focused certifications and evaluation techniques, hiring managers can reduce hiring risks, better match candidates to organizational needs, and build higher performing teams aligned with business outcomes and technology demands. Continued usefulness for junior roles. Certifications, including multiple choice based, might retain some utility for screening early career or entry-level candidates who lack extensive work experience. But even here, combination with practical evaluations is strongly recommended. What is the impact on recruiters that use multiple choice exam certifications? Recruiters who have traditionally depended upon multiple choice exam certifications as key filters in sourcing and screening candidates face evolving challenges as the industry shifts toward practitioner-based competency evaluations. There's going to be a decreased screening effectiveness. Multiple choice certifications offer a very convenient, quantifiable metric, but fail to reliably predict practical skills or job performance. This reduces their effectiveness as recruiting tools and increases the risk of advancing candidates who just lack demonstrated skills. There's going to be a need for new talent evaluation skills. Recruiters must develop deeper expertise in evaluating nuanced practitioner-evidence portfolios, work samples, scenario-based assessments, and soft skills. This requires new training and frameworks beyond simply verifying certification status. Increased time and complexity. Assessing candidates' practitioner competencies often involves more time-intensive approaches than screening for test-based certifications. Recruiters may face longer sourcing cycles and increased administrative complexity unless supported by advanced tools and AI-enabled assessments. Shift towards skilling-first hiring. To stay effective and valued, recruiters need to embrace skill-first hiring trends, prioritizing demonstrated job relevance abilities over legacy credential checking. Enhances candidate quality, diversity, and fitness, but demands evolution of the recruiting process and mindset. But there's an opportunity for professional growth. Recruiters who upskill to incorporate competency-based evaluations and leverage modern assessment technologies can increase hiring precision, reduce turnover, and improve organizational outcomes. Elevating their role as a strategic talent advisor. There's an ongoing impact on application tracking and assessment tools. Application tracking systems and recruiting platforms must also adapt to incorporate more sophisticated competency data instead of relying mainly on certification keywords, requiring recruiters to work with evolving technology ecosystems. The impact on instructors teaching to pass multiple choice exams. Instructors who have traditionally focused their teaching efforts on preparing students to pass multiple choice exams face significant challenges as certification programs move toward competency-based, practitioner-focused assessments. There's going to be a shift from teaching to memorize to teaching to apply. Multiple choice exam preparation often encourages instructors to emphasize memorization of facts and theories. The new competency-based models require instructors to pivot toward teaching practical skills, real-world applications, and problem-solving capabilities, which demand different approaches and deeper, much deeper subject mastery, curriculum design, and skills development. Instructors must redesign their curriculum and training materials to incorporate hands-on workshops, scenario-based learning, project work, and live demonstrations, rather than focusing mainly on content review and test-taking strategies. This transition requires new instructional design skills and potentially professional development for the instructors themselves. Increased teaching complexity and effort. Practitioner-based certification demands more interactive, personalized, and feedback-intensive teaching, increasing instructors' workload and complexity of student assessments. This contrasts with the relative simplicity and objectivity of grading multiple choice exams. There's going to be potential resistance and anxiety. Some instructors may experience resistance or anxiety adapting new teaching roles that require facilitation of applied learning and live competency demonstrations. Support systems and training are essential to help instructors succeed in this transition. There's going to be an opportunity to evaluate teaching quality. Successfully shifting from multiple choice exam training to competency-based instruction empowers instructors to foster deeper learning and produce graduates with proven skills who are better prepared for actual architecture practice and business challenges. The impact on certifying agencies relying on multiple choice exam revenues. Certifying agencies that have traditionally generated significant revenues from administering multiple choice exams face substantial disruption as the certification landscape shifts toward practitioner-based validation, revenue model changes, and revenue model challenges. Multiple choice exams are often a major revenue source due to their scalability and repeat test taker volumes. Transitioning to hands-on scenario-based and continuous competency evaluations typically require more costly infrastructures, smaller candidate throughput, and longer certification cycles, potentially reducing exam feast income. Increased investment and operational costs are going to happen. Practitioner-based certification demands investments in new assessment technologies, extremely skilled evaluators, ongoing competency reviews of both the instructors and the attendees, and a very sophisticated, focused training environment. These increased costs strain agency resources. And necessitate rethinking pricing and sustainability models. There's going to be a risk to these organizations of reduced candidate volume. The higher complexity, time commitment, and cost for candidates to achieve practitioner-focused certifications can lead to lower exam application volumes, temporarily impacting agencies' financial performance until market adoption matures. There's going to be a pressure to innovate and differentiate. Agencies must innovate their offerings to provide value beyond simple knowledge testing, such as portfolio assessment, project reviews, and micro-credentialing. This diversification is essential to maintaining relevance and competitive positioning as the industry favors demonstrated skills over test passing. There's going to be a potential market share shift. Agencies slow to adopt practitioner-focused certifications risk losing market share to organizations like EACOE and BACOE that have positioned ourselves as pioneers in this competency-based evaluation, attracting candidates seeking employer-relevant, credible certifications, opportunities for greater professional credibility. Despite these challenges, agencies embracing practitioner-focused models can enhance their brand credibility by producing highly qualified, certified professionals, fostering stronger industry partnerships, and aligning with evolving workforce expectations. Please visit www.eacoe.org and www.bacoe.org. We have been and are ready today to support you. Are you ready to be made the architecture of choice in Enterprise Architecture 5.0 and Business Architecture 5.0? The pathway is clear.